And today we have the pleasure of having the great Edwin Morales on. Edwin is an amazing life insurance agent, and we just wanted to kind of pick his brain today and kind of have him share some of his story, his journey, some of the pitfalls and the successes that he has. So, welcome to the call, Edwin. Thanks for hopping
Thanks.
on.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me in, having me on it.
Awesome, awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, we could just jump right in, man. Take
Okay.
me back to your journey, right? How
Okay. Yeah.
how did you even come across the insurance? What were you doing before? What what position in your life were you at that you wanted to make a change and to get into being a life insurance agent?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Well, before life insurance, I used to, own several gyms down in Fort Lauderdale area, and even while I was doing those, because it wasn't your typical gym, it was CrossFit gyms and high intensity type training. So I had an office, and I got my license while I was doing that, and started with Medicare first. And I did probably Medicare for a good month, working out of the office from the gym because I had just time in my hands, and why not use the license since I already had it. And then that was probably 6 years ago, at least 6, 7 years ago or so, and or more than that. But either way, I ended up selling the gyms, and I went into Medicare full time. Um, I ran into a couple of issues because I didn't want to give up my freedom. And and what I mean by that was I wasn't used to the office work, 9 to 5, or whatever times you want to put on it. I just was not used to that. So I actually stopped doing Medicare, went back into the gym world, and then I finally said, okay, I'm done with the fitness industry. And then when I came back to the license, I came back on the life side, the life insurance side, and that was probably a good a year and a half ago now, at least. And I got in it. I went back towards life insurance. Okay, there we go. I went back towards the life insurance side because first of all, I like the comp. I like the fact that I can actually make my own schedule. And even though I can make my own schedule, I knew I would have to work crazy hard. The first several years or whatever it was that my goal was going to be, I was going to work as hard as I could until I reached that goal. Um, and I did. I worked crazy hard. I still work crazy hard. And then when you reach that goal, you're like, wait a minute, that was too quick, too easy. Let's push it a little bit harder. However, um, of course, I ran into, and I still run into some obstacles. You know what I mean? One of the first obstacles was still that that in my head I still didn't want to work that, wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and be ready to do wherever I was going to be, whether you're at an office or in my house, ready to work,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
check
Let's
it out, Arturo.
not
I
to cut you
swear.
off, but let's dive into that because I think that
Yeah,
a lot of times agents come in and they hear about how much money they can make and opportunities that they can have, but they don't realize how much work you need to put in and dedication. And once that optimism meets this opportunity, and you realize how much effort and energy you got to put into it, let's kind of just talk about the kind of the
yeah,
commitment that you had to put in to get where you had to go.
yeah, yes, I agree. And I was going to touch on that because what I found, what I found was that while I worked at my house, I used every excuse to get off the computer or to get off the phone. Like, oh my gosh, there's a dish in the dishwasher. Like anything. Oh, I gotta clean the pool. Oh my gosh, I gotta clean the kitchen. I don't even do that when I'm off. I'm gonna go do it now that I'm dedicating some time to work. You know, so the first thing I needed to do was really just mentally prepare myself the night before, the morning of, and then continually because we get beat up. We get beat up as agents. We get beat up on the phone or face to face, door knocking, whatever. We are going to get beat up, and it's mentally exhausting, emotionally, if you let it get to you. Um, but yeah, you got to prepare yourself for some of those obstacles, and if you're prepared, you know you can overcome almost anything. I think I was telling you or someone, I may have posted it, but I read this quote the other day in a book, and it said your life is going in the direction of your strongest thoughts. You know,
Hmm.
and like even this Sunday, I'm not even kidding. This Sunday, right? Today is Monday, so this Sunday I woke up, or Saturday, I can't remember. Um, and the first thing through my mind was how exhausted, how tired, how like almost the word depressed would go through my head. Woke up. How can I just woke up. How can I be all those if I haven't even had the day to have all those?
Hmm.
So I had to rewire my mind. I literally had
Yeah.
to rewire that to to overcome that, because it's going to happen. I mean, we are negative in nature. You know what I mean? We're just negative in nature, I think, and
Yeah.
we really have to like prepare ourselves and think about literally.
Yeah. And that's interesting that you say that because to change the things that you think about starts with the things that you pour in. Things that you think about are things that have happened to you in the past and things that you're worried about in the future, right? And if you're stuck in the past, you're depressed. And if you're too worried about the future, you're going to have a ton of
Anxiety.
anxiety, right? And the present is now.
Mm.
And the $1 million change and shift that I made in my mindset where I couldn't do anything about the past because it was already done, and I didn't focus too much on the future because tomorrow is not promised. So the only thing I had to do was today, and if
Today.
I had an opportunity to change the things that I thought about, I had to understand what my pattern was. And
Yes.
the brain is an
Yeah.
interesting phenomena, right? Where the reason why the negativity comes in there is because your brain is trying to preserve you. So it's thinking about all the things that could harm you, right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, it remembers when you fell. It remembers when you got hurt. It remembers when you got rejected on that phone call. It remembers when she broke up with you. It remembers all
Hmm.
those things. And if you aren't able to kind of separate those things as that happened or it's just a thought, then it can start to
It's going
scare
to
you
take
and you can
over.
build up fear.
Yeah, it's going to take over.
Yeah.
It's exactly what would happen.
And so the first thing you got to do if you're an agent and you're in that space, right, or a business owner or somebody looking to get in the business, the first thing you got to do is you got to change the way you think. And the easiest way to kind of do that is, you got to think of your mind as like a
A
the ingredients.
CPU.
Yeah, it's like a cake, right? Let's just say like a
Oh
cake.
yeah,
The
yeah,
ingredients that you pour into your mind is going to determine which kind of cake you get, right?
yeah,
So if
yeah.
you wake up
I
in the
think of
morning,
it. I think you're exactly right. I think of it like a computer. I mean, think of it a computer. Someone has to program that computer, and whatever you are telling yourself is what you're going to program in that mind. So if you're thinking all these, oh my gosh, I can't do this, oh my god, that's what you're programming in there, and it's going to be repeated and repeated until you rewrite the program.
yeah, 100%. And it's like, usually on conversations, people have conversations and they tell you that you need to do something, but they don't really tell you how to do it. They don't give you actionable steps. And the
Yeah.
number one thing that my mentor broke it down to me is like intention, right? So if you intentionally do something, because we're the sum of the things that we do every single day, right? So if you are, trying to overachieve and high performer, usually you have those types of numbers in that performance. If you're a low level achiever, you usually have low energy, low self esteem, and low expectations of the future. So in order to kind of hack those things, typically what we do that worked for me, what I did was um, I focused on the people that I hung around. I tried to hang around people that were successful, and then the things that I consumed, that's where I stood. Like Jim Rome says, stand guard at the door of your mind.
Right.
Motivational, self help, positive things. I had a vision board and affirmations that I did in the mornings.
Yeah. Yeah.
I spoke
Here's
these
the
things into myself.
here's something even, which is 100% all of those. You got to do all of those. One thing that I ended up doing too in the beginning was I literally wrote down the thoughts because I was like, I need to know what I'm thinking in order to change what I'm thinking. And I would end up writing them down, and I'm like, wow, like at the end of the day or at the end of the week, I would just be like, my goodness, the dumacity that I was thinking, right? Like I was saying, like if you think of what you're thinking, trust me, you wouldn't be thinking it. It's
Yeah.
not even negative, and you gotta put those positive thoughts in there. So I would rewrite. I would put a column down, what I was thinking, and rewrite that same thought in a totally different, aspect of what I wanted that day or the future and so forth to be,
Yeah.
because I got to reprogram it. I got to rewrite it. I got to retell myself all these things daily,
Yeah.
daily.
Yeah. Because um, this translates into business and to sales. And so, just to
Hmm.
kind of transition into that, the reason why this is important is because your days go like this, right?
Oh
But
yeah,
if you are doing these things every single day, it's like the stock
it looks
market.
like a
It
flat
does
line.
have
I know.
ups and downs, yeah, but it's
Yeah,
going up. And that's
yeah,
consistency. And it translates
exactly.
into sales too, right? It's like you're not going to close every deal and close every sale, but if you have a negative mindset, guess what? So as soon as the first person hangs up or doesn't answer or stands you up, guess what? You're going to find the grass to cut, you're going to find the
Yeah,
dishes to
yeah,
do,
exactly.
you're going to
Yeah,
find all these
that's
things to do.
absolutely true. And then you're hesitant to pick up the phone again. And then when you do, you're thinking about the last two calls.
Put any the first thing I wanted to do was pour in something that was gonna help me for the day. Whether it was
Yes,
listening to some Jim
yeah,
Rohn or listening
yeah.
to You're a Badass book for 5 minutes. Before I even
Hmm.
did any of that, right? I wanted to make sure I poured some in. But alcohol was the biggest catalyst for me for sure because it was
Right? Yeah,
detrimental. It
yeah,
affected my mood. It affected the
yeah.
kind of foods that I ate. It affected my
Right?
productivity.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
quite frankly, it felt good then, but the next day I'm depressed. There's no way to do good
yeah,
work because you're
yeah.
hungover, right?
I
And
was
even
the
if
same
you are a
way. I
high
was
performer,
just
yeah, go
exactly
ahead.
right. No,
Yeah,
that's exactly right. And when you're doing, those habits the night before, or just not getting yourself ready in the morning, smiling is going to be harder, right? Because the phone call before was tough.
yeah, it's hard to
Laughing is
smile
going to be,
hungover.
it's hard to smile. Yeah, absolutely. Even sometimes when you're not,
Yeah,
but you got, I don't know, you got attacked. The call before it, they were like, no, I don't want to talk to you. I never filled it out, whatever it was. So you got a downer, right? But you got to literally, again, replace that thought, go on to the next phone call, because there's a book called Go for No, right? The more no's I get, I know there's a yes coming, like so quickly, right? Like, and the 80-20 rule. And I mean, you can keep going, but the more no's I get, I know there's a yes coming. So I'm like, okay, bye, click, okay, bye, I love you, click, whatever. But I'm going to replace that thought of what they just did to me so I can get ready for the next phone call and smile, laugh, because you're right, they're gonna know. They're gonna know you're laughing and smiling.
yeah, and that's great that you said that because that's really just the like what you said was an abundance mindset, right? Where I know most agents can kind of get bogged down with, oh, this lead didn't pick up and this person didn't do this. So let's kind of share with me a little bit of your abundant philosophy on how you're approaching leads and
Okay. Yeah.
appointments and all of that
Absolutely.
stuff. Like how you approach that. What's your philosophy?
You got it. Yeah. I think, I mean, in its statistics, you need to call the lead the moment it comes in, within 5 to 9 minutes. I don't even go 10, but between 5 and 9 minutes, you need to be at least trying to contact that person. They just hit the submit button. So it's like striking when the hammer's hot. Or is that right? Yeah, the hammer's hot, whatever it is, the iron's hot, whatever. But um, that's to me, that's step number one. As soon as you get a ding on your phone or email, however it is you're getting the leads, that lead needs to be called. Unless you're taking off Sunday, obviously, and you want to call them Monday. I get that. Absolutely, I won't pick up the phone on Sunday unless I have to.
Right.
But um,
And what's your
That's my
approach
number
to the
one.
leads when they, if somebody doesn't pick up or that? Like, what's your mindset there?
Yeah, yeah. And it depends on literally. It's crazy, but it depends on their voicemail whether I'm going to leave a voicemail or not. If they're like happy, joyful, and then I have a wonderful day, and you know how it is on voicemails, then I'm actually gonna leave them a message. That just listening to them got me happy, so I'm gonna give them a happy message too. And then sometimes I do that. Sometimes I won't leave a message. It just literally depends. And this is me, guys. It's just the way I am. I will leave a message and I won't. And then I will call at a different time that day. So if I got the lead, let's block it. Let's block it between like 9 and 12, and I don't get in touch with them between 9 and 12. Then I'm going to call them again between 3 and 6. You know. Regardless of whatever lead it may be, whether I got in touch with them in the morning and they're like, I can't talk right now. Okay, great. I'll call you in the afternoon, or I'll try to make an appointment right then and there. Because sometimes they just hang up on you and say, hey, I can't talk right now. Click. Well, you just picked up the phone. If you couldn't talk, you shouldn't have picked up the phone, right?
Right.
But cool. I'll call you again in the evening. Um, those were
Yeah.
the ones that hadn't made an appointment.
Gotcha.
And, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and it just sounds like you just even kill. As a matter of fact, if they pick up, great. If they don't, you're not really sweating
Yeah.
it. You're not letting it ruin your day, right?
Right, right. I can't because again, I know that let's go with the 80-20 rule, right? I know that 2 out of those 10 people that I'm gonna call need help, right? I know they need help. Let's just say that. And let's say that the 2 of those didn't pick up the phone. I'm still gonna call those same 10, no matter what, because the law of large numbers say 2 of them are going to need my help. I just
Yeah.
don't know which one of those 2 or 10 are those 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and that's
Now
gold.
then you obviously multiply that by large numbers, 100 calls or whatever it may be. But yeah, I'm not going to let it get to me because one, I'm going to make another phone call, and two, I know that I'm going to attempt to call you again sooner or later.
Gotcha. Yeah, man, that's golden. And that's just contacting the leads. So let's transition into like the sales process, right? Because
Okay.
your approach is very calm and matter of fact, and demeanor's there. So that kind of transition into kind of a professional, and it increases my certainty just on this call, right? As,
Yeah.
as as agents are watching this, what are just a couple nuggets maybe you can drop on what you're saying or things that you make sure that you cover in the presentation part of the call? So you got in the home or you're on the call, you went through the discovery, and people are, you're going through the sales process, you're going to write this person. But what are just a couple things that you make sure that you do on the sales call?
Absolutely. So the first thing I want to let them know is that I'm just like them. I am just like them. Okay. I have a family. I got 2 kids. We just bought a dog. I thought I would never have a dog. You know what I mean? Like I literally tell them all that. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not going to go and make 90% of the entire conversation about myself because it's not. But the one thing I do want to drive is I want to let them know, hey, I'm human. I have emotions. I have kids, and I love whatever macaroni and cheese. You know what I mean? Like I want to let them know I'm just like them. Um, I let them know that I'm gonna work for them. This is one of my favorite lines: is I'm gonna work for you like I work for my family. That's one of
Mm.
my, and they eat it up. They really eat that line up, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then the next thing is, I explain to them why I give them. Well, I give them my cell phone number. I don't know if other agents do or not, but I give them my cell phone number. Most of us, that's what we're going to use anyway. But I explain to them why I'm give them my cell phone number. And I come up. It's not even a story. I don't want my mom to call a 1-800 number. Never talking to the same person twice. Never having to say the same story over and over. Never getting the right answer. right? I tell them those three things, and they're already saying, yeah, that happens to me. I hate when that happens. It's like they're already agreeing with you. You
Mm,
know, and then the third major thing that I kind of do is I make it really, really simple, and this is where that like the first qualification, and I got this from Greg, I believe. But I let them know the three things that we're going to need right off the bat. Like after we talk back and forth for like 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, cool. Listen, I want to let you know how every single insurance company works. I don't care who you deal with, right? Every insurance company works this way. And I let them know that, yep, they're going to use your social. This is why they use your social, right? I let them know that they're going to do a medical background check with the social, and I let them know that they're going to need a local bank account.
gotcha.
If I know that those two things, their social and their bank account, are there, that they have it, that they're okay with it, that they're agreeing with me, then I can continue.
Awesome. Well, why did you start doing that? What happened before that? Maybe you weren't doing that. What was some
Oh my
hurdles
goodness,
that you?
man! You would get to the end. You know what I mean? You're 50 minutes into the call, 45 minutes to the call. You're like, okay, go get your checkbook, or do you know your bank account information? It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do I mean?
Yeah, it's the
you
surprise.
know,
It's like it
we
just gets
just
awkward right then. Like I didn't know I needed that. I thought you were just
yeah,
friends
yeah,
hanging out, having a conversation. What do you mean social? What do you mean
yeah,
bank account?
yeah, yeah. So that's exactly what it was. And then like a lot of times, and it's crazy, but a lot of times they're okay giving you their social. But then when it comes to bank account, they don't want to give it to you. I'm like, wait a minute, you gave me your social. You know what I mean? Out of all things, you gave me your social. Your bank account is protected. But that's why I put it way in the front. That's one of the reasons I put it in the front. And if they say, no, I don't have a bank account. I use what is it, Direct Express, right? The government card. And I'm like, okay, we have companies that work with that, but that does narrow the choices that we have. So that lets me know right away, okay, I can continue. I know where I'm going. I still have work to do, right? But um, that's pretty much after we kind of connect. That's one of the first things I'll say.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, that was definitely some good advice, and definitely dropped some nuggets
Mhm.
there. And so, as we kind of come to the end of this and kind of conclude this conversation, which is really awesome, what would you say to Edwin 6 years ago is coming into the business? What would be one big piece of advice that you would give yourself, right, if you were in your shoes and kind of starting over?
Oh man, that's a good one. That's emotional almost, bro. You know what I mean? That's tough. I think one would be, we talked about it earlier, is be consistent, be intentional, and consistent. Don't say that you're going to go do something and not do it. Don't say that, yep, I'm going to do 100 calls today and do 98. You know, don't say that you're going to wake up at 6 and wake up at 7. Be intentional, be consistent. And I would definitely let Edwin know 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, don't quit. Just do not stop. Do not stop. Do not quit, because the time is coming. It's coming. It takes time to learn. It takes time to educate yourself on whatever it is you're doing, sales, insurance, Medicare, whatever it might be, IULs. You still need to know the process, your clientele and so forth. So it does take time. So do not stop.
Awesome, man. Yeah, well, that's definitely gold, and I definitely appreciate that. Well, so a lot of agents are going to see this, and whether they're in a good situation or a bad situation, or maybe looking for an opportunity where they kind of want to get into business, and they see this video and they're like, "Man, Edwin seems like an awesome guy. I'd like to just get ask some questions, or maybe even want to join your team." So,
Sure
if
thing.
somebody was looking to do that, how would they be able to get in contact with you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook easily, Edwin Morales. I can't remember what my profile picture looks like, but it's a bald Puerto Rican dude like I look now. I might have a beard, but I do change it once in a while, but it's Edwin Morales in Florida, in Boynton Beach, Florida. You can contact me there. You can shoot me an email, morales.jr at att.net.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
morales dot jr at att.net. And I definitely get back, and we can chat, talk, answer questions, whatever it may be. I'm there to help for sure.
Awesome. Well, Edwin, again, thank you for hopping on this, the first episode of the Rainmaker podcast with many to come. I'm sure he'll be back on and maybe even hosting some of
Absolutely.
these in the future. But thanks for coming on and spending time with us and pouring into, life insurance agents all around the country. So thank you for everything that you do and keep fighting the good fight, man. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely, brother. You got it 100%. I'll see you soon. Take care, man.
Awesome. Peace.